Man, oh man, welcome back to Off the Pitch this Monday evening, and doing things a bit different today, as you'll see from the casual setting, the relaxed setting that we're shooting from today. Same show, but with a twist. My name is Malo Ramushaba, and joining me today, someone coming to you with a bit of a swing, something a bit different. Mcebisi, Mtchali, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm good, thanks, and you, Malo. Thank you for such a lively welcome. My gosh, I was, maybe thinking it's going to be a slow start, but you've come in hot.
Absolutely brilliant. So I know you obviously dabble into a lot of sports, but we'd like to call you maybe our golf expert, our golf
resident golf analyst.
100%. Give us an idea, maybe for the viewers, how you got so excited and passionate about the sport. I see you got your golf tee on. You were juggling a golf ball just now recently. Your passion for the game?
Look, you know what? I grew up playing every single sport under the sun, both in school and outside of school as well.
Like a lot of people.
Like a lot of people, exactly. I think that's one of the things about South Africans is that in school we're bombarded with all these different sports. So you pick up everything. Everyone's tasting something nyana every now and then, you know what I mean? But soccer, the biggest sport that I used to play. I played school, I played academy as well, growing up. Then dabbled with rugby, tennis, cricket, running, everything. I love doing it. And then golf sort of came, more when Tiger started, really doing his thing and booming. And he sort of made golf a cool sport, to try and to dabble into. And then obviously the world of golf being such a fantastic facility. I went there with my dad a few times. I swung and I was like, you know what, I could do this thing, man. I actually really liked it.
Sure.
Luckily, I had a naturalish kind of swing, so it wasn't like I was terrible from the get-go. And then it just grew, man. It just grew from there.
I like that you touch on that because, at school sports, especially since COVID and everything, the impact that COVID has had on sports. But now, obviously, what's the landscape now with regards to golf at schools? Because from my understanding, there's not a lot of golf actually happening at schools, or are you starting to see maybe a lot of schools now taking up golf and offering it?
So
it's predominantly always, your rugby, cricket, and football.
So it's an interesting one. The barrier to entry for golf is high. It's an expensive sport. So you do get some of the schools that can afford it, that do offer it. I was actually in high school. I didn't play school golf, but it was offered, and there were a few guys that did play it, kind of a thing. So I think that we still are far away from seeing golf in schools as prevalent as we see soccer and we see rugby and we see cricket, as you mentioned earlier on. So
100%.
It's not there yet, but as an extramural activity, like I mentioned, the world of golf, there's a lot of driving ranges as well, and just golf clubs in general. They're really good at making golf that relaxing thing that you can come do after work, hit a couple of balls, have a few drinks with the friends, kind of a thing. So
it's COVID friendly, you're out in the sun,
exactly,
getting your vitamin D there.
exactly. And I think that's probably how it's growing and getting a lot more people involved in it. It's working well, man. You mentioned COVID, and it's funny because, like I said, I picked up golf in high school, and then I played it on and off, and then I stopped playing it for a while when I came back to Joburg from Cape Town after studies. But then COVID happened. Now I can't play football. I can't play any of the sports that I used to play.
You might as well pick up golf.
My friends were like, listen, stage 3, golf is the only thing that's allowed. Let's go do it.
100%. And beautiful courses out in Cape Town. I was at Stellenbosch Golf Club, Rondebosch. This is some beautiful,
tons of
right by
courses.
The ocean. It's you're living the dream there. Huh?
Tons of beautiful courses. Courses that really are, beautiful but tough. When the wind is howling down there, it's problematic. But just, I can't even limit it to just Cape Town. You know what I mean? Obviously those courses, they are beautiful because they have the sea, they have, the greenery, it looks amazing. The ambiance is amazing, it's fantastic. The weather allows for the most part, but it's all around the country.
100%.
We live in a country, honestly, that I think is, hey, I don't want to anger any English people or Scottish people, but I almost feel like South Africa is the home of golf just because we've got all types of courses, links, parklands, any type of course that you can think of, we have here. We have the weather all around the year for it, basically, where you can play golf literally throughout the year. It's not like there's a season where it's raining so much that you can't play. There's a season where it's so cold that you can't play. You can play at any time. So Cape Town, Joburg, Durban,
top courses,
Limpopo, Bloemfontein, everywhere in South Africa, Northwest, everywhere in South Africa, there are stunning courses.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah,
Still
in my heart, I consider it the heart of golf.
The heart of golf. Still here, chatting to Mcebisi, Mtchali on all things golf. So talk to us. I mean, this year for you, for golf, I mean, I was reading somewhere that the annual contribution towards golf in South Africa is sitting at about 50 billion rands with regards to, you know, how much corporate companies are really investing in the sport. But this year for you, some standout moments, some big tournaments. How was the year 2020 with regards to golf?
So, listen, I'll say, obviously, I think for the viewers who don't know, I work in the golf space. So I'm the marketing manager for the Sunshine Tour. And I think having seen the growth of golf in South Africa specifically now, and when I say growth, South Africa is not a country that has struggled with golf before. I mean, we've had fantastic players that have gone in and won international tournaments, won majors, you know, the likes of Gary Player, Ernie Els, of course, and the list goes on and on. So to even say that it's gone from strength to strength, even from that strong a position, you must know that I'm saying something really, really powerful. It's been a fantastic year for golf in South Africa. I think we've seen the Sunshine Tour specifically, you know, as the PGA of Southern Africa, controlling body of golf in South Africa and Southern Africa, as I said, go from strength to strength, hold more tournaments than ever before, more broadcasted tournaments than ever before, players winning for their first time ever. You know, we had the likes of Albert Fenter winning in Zim and now winning again recently. Now, it's fantastic just to see the amount of young players that are coming up and playing at such a high level and making that step from the Sunshine Tour to international tours like the Deep World Tour and the PGA Tour. Dean Burmester literally just got his PGA Tour card off the Corn Ferry Tour. Dylan Naidu is now playing on the Corn Ferry Tour. James Hartapir is on the. It's a fantastic time for South African golf. So I think my highlight would definitely be joining the tour. Obviously, 100% was a highlight for me personally.
Definitely.
But just being at tournaments, I mean, the Cape Town Open, the Baines Whiskey Cape Town Open.
How was that actually?
Spectacular tournament.
Who weren't able, I mean, you weren't even swinging tickets there by us.
I'm still new, man. Are you asking me to swing tickets when I've just slid into the...
You are just getting into the
groove. I'm not a connect yet.
100%.
No, listen, it was a phenomenal tournament held at two stunning courses in Cape Town.
Royal Cape,
Rondebosch and Royal Cape.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just think that, you know, it might have been the first tournament where we saw a really strong crowd coming out. And obviously it's understandable after COVID. You know, it's a little bit tough. People are not sure what the story is exactly. No, the Baines Whiskey Cape Town Open was fantastic. Baines Whiskey, as a sponsor, title sponsor, are so passionate about golf.
100%.
They made it rain, man. That tournament was really, really great. But it's not the only one. We were in Durban for the Johnson Workwear Open. We've been all around the country with fantastic tournaments and fantastic partners. So to pick out one highlight specifically is going to be
There's just way too many, but still chatting to BC, they call him in the second segment. Looking forward, what's happening in 2023? He's talking about Baines Whiskey. I hope the man doesn't play and drink. But stay tuned, we'll be back for the second segment, still with Mcebisi. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Off the Pitch. Don't forget to get in touch with us on our YouTube channel, that is Off the Pitch, and see some of the previous shows potentially that you might have missed. But we're still here chatting all things golf with my man. They call him BC. I don't know why they call him BC. Maybe it's the surname, but hey, talk to us, Mcebisi, about, you know, you were mentioning the fact that, you know, South Africans doing so well within the world of golf. You know, not only from a South African point of view, but international as well. You know, it's always been a sport that we've dominated locally, but internationally, the guy's doing very, very well. Yeah, man. I mean, I think, you know, you look at the Open, which was the last major that we had in the golf calendar, the 150th Open at St. Andrews, and we had 12 South African golfers representing the country there. I mean, if you think about how small our country is, 100%.
How many golfers play around the world, the fact that we have 12 people playing in this tournament is huge, you know what I mean? And every single one of those guys basically came from the Sunshine Tour. So it's really, South Africans are doing amazing overseas, you know, right now. We've had Charles Swatchel win a Liv Golf event. Henry Duplessis came second there. Like, talk to us about Liv Golf. You know, a lot of people... I knew it was coming.
They keep... You knew it was coming. A lot of people, obviously, you know, maybe outside of the golfing industry who maybe like the sport and watch, they hear about it, but maybe they don't have a deeper understanding. I mean, that's why you're here as well, to educate, you know, even some of us and some of the viewers in terms of what is it, because there's so much noise about this Liv Golf.
So Liv is basically a augmented format of the sport of golf that has been introduced by a Saudi-based company, essentially. And Liv is literally the Roman numerals for 54.
Yes.
So it is a 54-hole tournament. Usually golf tournaments are 72 holes, so held over 4 days.
Shorter period.
So this is a shorter format with no cut after the halfway mark. So it's raised a lot of controversy about that.
Yes.
And then obviously I think the biggest thing is that they are throwing so much money at this, like
but
the
that's
winners and
money
the
in
competitors.
sports, BC. That's unfortunately the world we're living in today.
No, it definitely is, and I think that it's something that will definitely benefit the players. And you know, I think we've seen South Africans do really well on the Live, like I mentioned, Charles Schwartzel and Henny du Plessis doing really well, coming first and second at one of the Live events. And that money for them is a big thing. You know, it can be a life-changing amount of money that can help you. I mean, golf is a very expensive sport.
100%.
It's a difficult sport to keep maintaining, especially if you're not winning or you're not making cuts. So the money that Liv is pouring into the sport is what is really turning heads. And they're also just trying to make it a little bit punchier. You know, they're sort of approaching it the same way that I think T20 approached trying to revamp cricket. I guess
the Super League in football, you know.
Exactly.
These billionaires are doing things.
They're just throwing the money at it and trying to see what sticks, kind of a thing. So that's essentially where it's at. Look, I the same way that I love Test cricket more than any other form of cricket.
And we'll get to that. Some of the other sports.
Some of the other
you're
sports.
A huge
Look, I'm a
sports fan.
but I'm a traditionalist. So like I love golf as it is. 72 holes with a cut. Testing your metal. I love it. But you know, like you say, man, money is changing everything
100%.
in the world. We're going to see what happens in the next few years.
Talking about the next and the future, I mean, give us an idea, you know, quickly what's coming up maybe towards the end of the year, October to December, what the calendar looked like. We know there's still Nedbank Golf Challenge, as well as 2023. I know there's a lot happening in the golf space.
So the cool thing I must say about golf, just in general, because we're Southern Hemisphere and the two biggest tours are Northern Hemisphere, is that when their seasons start winding down, that's when the Sunshine Tour season starts kicking up. So towards the end of the year, man, we've got our 3 co-sanctioned events, literally our biggest tournaments on the calendar. So the Joburg Open from the 24th to the 27th of November at Houghton Golf Club.
Brilliant.
The Investec SA Open Championship at Blair Athol, stunning golf course. If you haven't played there yet, let's talk. I'll take you for a swing around there.
Excellent.
But from the 1st to the 4th of December, stunning golf course, stunning tournament.
Beautiful.
And then the Alfred Daniel Championship at Leopard Creek. Just,
Absolutely.
I mean, a jewel of a course.
100%.
So literally, man, those tournaments are, you know, towards the end of the year, massive tournaments. But from now up until then, tournaments every single weekend that you can catch on Supersport, that you can catch on Sunshine Show social media platforms. There's just golf literally every single weekend.
Absolutely love it, BC. Absolutely love it. And to catch analysis of that, obviously catch Off the Pitch with BC here, who'll be breaking down those tournaments and everything that happens between now and the end of the year. But before we let you go, other sports, I mean, behind you there's Sundowns, there's Pirates. I don't know what other sports you're into, but give us an idea.
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many at this point in time. Look, so football, obviously I'm a Chelsea fan.
Okay, brilliant.
You say brilliant, but right now things are looking very, very tough.
New ownership, I mean,
new ownership, new managers.
Chelsea.
The less said, the better. Let me just wait and see how Graham Potter sort of manages the team. But also, I mean, look, big fan of all sports. Tennis, very, very big tennis fan. And then also, you know, at NFL and NBA, a big fan of those as well. The NFL has just started now. I'm a Patriots fan. So looking forward to the season just to see what's happening sort of, you know, with Mac Jones coming into his second year as the Patriots quarterback. Man, I watch all sports. You know, there's just so much now, and I think it's at our fingertips, you know, thanks to the great sort of like sports streaming devices and channels that we have. So
from a local football point of view, I know there's a lot happening. MTN 8 coming up. And
Sky's the limit. I'm a Sundowns fan.
Happy with the business in terms of transfers that they've done. Bongani Zungu, a strong team.
I think that, like signing Bongs is massive. You know, you can't, he's someone with international experience. So it's a great signing. But I think, you know, Sundowns has done so well over the past few years. You can't fault anything. The way that the club is being run, you can't really fault it, you know. And I think, you know, after, you know, Patrice Motsepe stepped down and Klopane took over, it's like, it's been seamless. You know what I mean?
The transition
has been seamless. The 3 coaches, I was skeptical. It seems
but
like
I mean,
it's
you
working.
guys started this whole 3 coaches. Now it seems like every single team in the league is copying.
It's copying, but why not? If we are literally pioneering South African football right now, you know, taking it to the next level. So why not copy it? But look, man, Sundowns is doing some great things. South African football is also on the rise. So yeah, man, my teams are
Maybe there'll be 3 coaches at Chelsea. You put him with a Pizzo in the mix with Potter.
Throw in Potter, throw in Pizzo. I mean, we've seen Benny's now seem to have changed things around.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to Benny. I know Eric is the main coach. I'm giving it to Benny that he's turned things around at United.
Talking about Benny, though, during the Man U games, I don't see him on the touchline next to Ten Hag. I know, obviously, he's the striking coach, but I don't see him there at the back with the players. Maybe after the game, sometimes he comes out.
Yeah, there's a thing of too many cooks, can spoil sort of the pots. And I think that he doesn't need to be there shouting and remonstrating kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it's obvious that there's an impact that he's having when it comes to the strikers because Marcus Rashford,
they're firing.
Yeah. They're looking confident. So
except not in the Europa League, but hey.
Except not in the Europa League. But the less said about that, the better, I guess. I don't want to be angering my United fan friends. So
lastly, your prediction for the UEFA Champions League and Chelsea. I mean, how do you see them in that particular group that they're in? I mean, a lot of football still to be played.
We'll make it to the group.
Yeah.
Depending on what draw we get round of 16. But I think Chelsea getting to the quarterfinals would be a very good
top 4 in the Premier League? Chelsea?
Yeah, we gotta.
We gotta.
Look, it looks like City's run away with it. So maybe no one else seems to want second, third, and fourth.
Yeah.
So it's up for grabs. I don't want to hold anything to it. This is going to be recorded. I don't want people to be cool. You remember when you said Chelsea? So yeah.
So BC there, not confident of Chelsea finishing in the top 4, but absolutely brilliant having you, and look forward to you coming on more. Maybe in December, January. There's a lot of golf obviously still to be played. But stay tuned for segment 3, where we're going to be touching all things football with the man. He's back, Mr. Cyrus Rogers. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Off the Pitch. And in segment 1 and 2, we were chatting all things golf with Mcebisi, Mtchali, and absolutely brilliant interview in those 2 segments. But the man is back. I don't know where he's been. He's been hiring and firing coaches out at Chelsea.
It's what I do.
Cyrus, what's going on?
I'm good, man. I'm good. As you say, hiring and firing coaches in Chelsea, it is unfortunately the legacy of what this club does. But there's much more to Chelsea than just that, because we hire, we fire, and we win trophies.
18 months. I mean, I was seeing a stat to say that in the last, I think since 2004, the amount of coaches, I mean, it seems like every 2 years they're just trading out managers.
So that's the average,
I wouldn't have thought this new manager would still continue with that
new owners. So the thing was, and I've been listening to a lot of interesting content around this, and everyone thought, okay, fine, they'll give him time. But the reality was there seems to have been a culture fit issue. They wanted things to be a lot more collaborative. Tuchel basically divorced himself from the process. So for instance, even when it came to things like signing players, they had a WhatsApp group. Can you believe it? Just like us. And in that WhatsApp group, Tuchel was just like, you know what? You just find whoever. Here's a list of guys. Get them. If not, don't bother me. I just want to focus on coaching. And that seems to be what has led to him sort of falling out, because when it comes to it, these new owners want to be able to know exactly what's happening. Crazily, it's what happened with Roman Abramovich when he first came. He wanted to learn about the game. He wanted to see exactly how things worked. And Jose Mourinho was happy to do that. Claudio Ranieri was happy to do that, to teach him. Tuchel is like, I'm a coach. Leave me to do what I do. And he's like, well, you're the former coach.
Former coach there, Thomas Tuchel. I wonder where he's going to end up. But Cyrus, let's talk about the world football and the impact potentially of the FIFA World Cup. We know it's coming up in November towards the end of the year, but a lot of people may be thinking that, is this going to potentially impact the domestic leagues in Italy, in the Premier League, even from an African point of view, with players leaving? When they come back, what condition will they be in? I mean, a lot of people will be chasing titles, potential relegations, the impact of the FIFA World Cup.
So I think it's going to be massive. And we have to remember the first thing here is this has never happened before. So nobody can say that they're prepared for this, because it's completely different. It disrupts every single major league in the world, where everything will just sort of grind to a halt because the best players will be gone. And the eyeballs will also be off their leagues. It makes no sense for leagues to be playing while the World Cup is on. So all eyeballs and all attention will be on that. Just remember, it's like FIFA international windows. Everything goes towards
everything has to
FIFA.
stop.
Now let's look at it in terms of impact. And somebody said this about the Premier League title in particular. When you look at all of the sort of big teams in England in particular, they are all in a space where their best players are going to be playing at the World Cup. Except for Manchester City.
Yes, because a lot of the players, interesting that you picked that out.
Kevin De Bruyne will definitely be there with Belgium. But one team that didn't qualify for the World Cup was Norway. And who's been ripping things up? Haaland. So
Brilliant.
Haaland will be rested over that period. Now, maybe there might be something to do with rust in the legs and what have you, but the reality is...
I'm sure they'll still be keeping fit.
Exactly. He'll do all of the training, but it's really about match tempo. So somebody like Haaland really sits back. Now, another thing is, in a league like Italy, where a lot of the teams there have Italian-based players, Italy's not at the World Cup.
A big miss. I mean, I'm wearing their jersey here, but there'll be no Del Piero.
You'll be wearing it. You'll be wearing it at home and watching just like the Italian national team.
Absolutely.
But think about it this way. So you've now got Italian, Italian teams who will have the majority of their squad players fit.
Your Jorginho at Chelsea?
Yeah, exactly. So there'll be a few of those guys where you'll be like, okay, fine. These guys might be the deciders in terms of what happens going forward. The other thing about a World Cup is everybody's involved for the first 3 rounds. You know, it's like everybody plays.
And then fall
from
off.
there, it's the knockouts to see who goes. Now, you will have the bigger nations that will go relatively deep. And those guys will obviously have players who will have to be managed.
Your Germany, your England, your France.
Exactly. And
big
France
boys.
in particular. Now, and Brazil. And Brazil's a very important one here because there's been a lot of Brazilian players signed by English
100%.
teams at the moment.
Look at your Richarlison, your Jesus, who are
Arsenal
fighting
is
to break
full of them.
into.
Martinelli, Jesus. Now, the other thing about a World Cup is tournament football leads to injuries. And so we're bound to see the impact of injuries and injuries to players, minor or major, affecting what happens when the leagues resume. So everybody's still trying to figure out what happens before and after, but there's also another impact that will also potentially see how things go, and that has to do with the death of Queen Elizabeth. Because the cancellation of that round of matches has meant that there's now a squeeze to try and fit
the fixtures have
in,
to be obviously
and now you're trying to push everything
But don't you think those fixtures will maybe be fitted in 2023? I mean, I don't think they'll be fit in
the
in
calendar
this year still,
is
but
tight.
it's
so
congested
yes,
anyway.
it probably will be in the new year, but it just means that there's going to be a lot more football. Now that
which is good for us.
No, well, look, as fans, but then we as fans also like to complain when people get injured, when our teams are not playing well, and then we'll have excuses. Oh, we're playing too much football. Oh, it never stops. Think about a team like Liverpool. And Liverpool are a team who are really struggling for form at the moment. Their loss to Napoli was a big loss.
Definitely.
I mean, like they looked all over the place.
People were saying Klopp out. I think it's a bit too soon for that. But hey,
people said if one German can go, 2 Germans can go. But I agree, it's way too early, and Liverpool are not the kind of club that would do that. I think what you might find is that Klopp might be looking at how does he refresh his team, especially with, the spend, like Chelsea went and spent massively. They're not going to do that season after season after season, but how does he keep up with like a City, who City won the league last year. They went and got the best striker in the world, and he's fitted in like a glove. And now Liverpool are like, okay,
best striker in the world. I don't think yet, personally.
No,
in my opinion, he's on his way there. I would still put a Benzema, Lewandowski, in my opinion, above
those
him.
two are the greats.
Yes,
but I think that he might be because of form, fitness, age. He's in that level where he's doing it. And Lewandowski started to score goals at Barcelona, which is great for him. Benzema's just gotten injured, which is obviously bad for Real, and he's been one of the best players in the world. But I think that Haaland has showed that he's got the capacity to destroy any team.
100%.
So yeah, maybe you're right in terms of maybe not quite anointed, but
he's
definitely
there.
in that
Him
top
and Mbappe,
5.
I think for me are the next, global superstars.
They really are.
I wouldn't even say the next. I mean, they're the current. Actually, if you think about it. So I mean, for going back to the FIFA World Cup, I mean, are you basically saying now City are probably going to benefit the most because of the Haaland issue, because of the FIFA World Cup?
Potentially. If I remember correctly, Portugal, I don't remember if they're going to be at the World Cup now. So when you look at some of the key areas around where this team, like City in particular, are, Cancelo's going to be really important. Their goalkeeper is going to be important. He's going to be there.
Definitely.
Right? De Bruyne, Foden.
Big
I
players.
mean, you look at the spine of that team, and the majority of them are going.
Walker on the side.
Right, yeah, exactly. So the majority of that team is going, Ruben Diaz. So Haaland will be fit, and they're going to lean heavily on him. But then some of these other teams will be like, okay, fine, maybe we can just sort of manage. I mean, potentially a team like Arsenal might not have as many issues.
Wow, Cyrus, a lot still to discuss, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. Basically, what Cyrus is saying that he thinks Manchester City look like they're going to walk away with the title, given the FIFA World Cup in the mix. But Cyrus, thank you so much. It's been absolutely brilliant having you on the show. We'll see you again. And the viewers, we'll see you same time, same place next week. We out. Thank you.